So really, Greg and I are on at two different levels. I'm on what they call the basic level. So I'm spending about $3.98 a month per user. I got 251 users currently right now, and actually we got more licenses than we need by about 10 or so, because I kind of want to keep a little bit of a cushion in there. Greg is actually at the business level, and we kind of put on there, his deal was more space. So at the basic level, you get 30 gigs for a user. That includes your G Drive, your Google Drive, and your email. And as one of my cohorts likes pointing out, if you save anything in a Google format, it's unlimited. But you get unlimited space once you go to the business level, and it starts at around 10 bucks a month, but typically you get in with a reseller that'll give you a little bit of a discount on top of that. So like I was saying earlier, the main reason that I switched is we had a 2010 server, Exchange server, and it was to the point where we were going to have to pick something, whether we were going to go Office 365 or Gmail, and we kind of had some meetings, and our chief of operations was kind of a big Google person. He's big into technology, so he was, and then Chris, who you met earlier, had been in a Google shop before, so at that point, I had somebody on my staff that was actually familiar with it, so it just made the decision that much easier. That was on there. And yeah, I'm using Google Slides on my phone to present to the TV. And if you don't know much about the produce industry, we're not exactly what you would call cutting edge. So I still got people that are going, wow, you can do that off your phone, and you're not even, where does the HDMI cord plug into? How do you get that to work? So we actually had our Exchange server in a colo, and it just seemed like I was spending every other weekend putting on updates, switching the CAS over, and just all kinds of stuff with it. And even though it was in a colo, it wasn't in our on-site, I just got tired of dealing with it. And then the licensing costs and the servers, and I said, you know, there's just got to be a better way. So that's when we kind of went with Google. I'll be the first to tell you the conversion was a bitch. It was not a fun conversion. There was people, my boss told me, the CFO, he said, if I can't use Outlook, it's a deal breaker. We are not using this. If I cannot use my Outlook, and we're on 2010, Office 2010 is what we're using here. We finally just got rid of 2007, so again, we're kind of behind the times on that. But he actually said it was a deal breaker if we couldn't use Outlook. But there's a migration utility and a sync utility that syncs it all up, so everybody can still use their Outlook. Or you can use Thunderbird, or you can use EMC, there's email. Yeah. There's a lot of clients out there pretty much that you can use. There's a couple of different versions I'll show you in a minute. We have Inbox and Gmail, so it's a simplified, Inbox is a very simplified kind of a browser-based email, and that's actually what our executives wound up using. I didn't even show it to them. They found it, started using it, and there's a check mark, and they use it as a task list. So as they get their emails, they just click the check and it's done. Click the check, and they just, as they come in, and they can go through it a lot faster. But you lose the sort functionality that you get in Outlook. That's the one thing that killed me. I ran Outlook. I ran them side by side for a long time, but I love that sort. You can sort everything from one person. You can sort it by date and all that, or subject. You lose that in Google, but you have a search, but now I have to type something in every time I want to look for something. And they have labels versus the folders that they have in Outlook. But when you do a search in Gmail, you're searching everything, not just that folder. And you know, you could have it in multiple folders, but you had to copy the email to the other folders. Where with Gmail, they treat everything with a label. So you can have multiple labels on the same email. And I do a lot of folders with people, and since I have the email under that person, I can actually have it under multiple people, but it's still only one email. It's just got the different labels on it. So once you understand the behavior, it actually becomes simpler, but training that behavior to these people was a bitch, and still is.
It's the end user part that's the worst.
I have,
always.
Yes, absolutely. It's a different flavor.
IT's so much easier without the people.
Yeah, one of the things about this is,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, people saying labels. What about full? I said, well, you can't look at it that way, because really you have two boxes. You have an inbox and you have archive. Okay, and what you do is you're tagging each email with the tag as a label, and that's why, like Ray said, you can actually put that into many places that you want. You know, big feature in Outlook is categories, right? Well, you can do the same thing with using stars. If not, you can actually create your own category function and list it however you want, and put colors however you want to lay it out, which makes it easier for that user. You know, some people like using the notes. Not everybody, if you do an analysis, not everybody in the company uses Outlook to its true potential at all. So you really got to know what those functions are.
45-50% is what we used.
So whatever those key functions are, that's what you focus on to make your change during your migration process.
So, like I was saying, you can still use Office and Outlook with G Suite. So don't let that be the deal breaker, because you can use it. We had a really low buy-in from the beginning. We had some people that are like, yeah, let's do it, we'll save money. But then when they realized what they had to do to save that money, they're like, crap, let's not do that to save money, because it's more frustrating right now. And I would say we've been on it for about a year, and it's just now starting to kind of level off. The people being upset at IT for switching from this awesome Microsoft system to this, what the hell, G Suite system?
And believe it or not, the biggest change was when security update hit that broke the search function in Outlook.
Yep.
We intentionally didn't fix that.
In fact, I actually have a training slideshow that I do for people, and the very first slide is, we're deprecating Outlook in 2018. And for us, we just turn off IMAP, and it's just not going to work anymore, period.
Well, you can turn off the connector piece, and done. You can stop it from using anything else at all.
And so we're going to shift that by saying, okay, we no longer support Outlook. Let me show you how to do that in Gmail. But we've also had multiple rounds going through the companies and training everybody. And we try to get excited about it as we're showing these people. And I'll be more than happy to share the slide presentation that I've made for it. I think Google's got some great slides, but I tried to break it down even simpler for my people to try to understand it. And there's key concepts like labels that I try to show them how to use. And once that concept kind of hits, the light bulb goes off a little bit, because the label concept goes throughout all of the G Suite. So you can create personal distribution lists just like you can. You've got rules in Gmail, it's filters. So you still have that behavioral set. You have a set of behaviors whenever the email comes in with it. Just, I would say almost all the functionality is there. It's just called a different word, or it's a little bit different in the way you use it, except for that sort function. That's the only thing that, and they have no plan to put that in. But yeah, lots of training is needed from the IT staff, and we learned a new level of patience by doing
Turns
this.
out, if you don't know it, you can Google it. The answers are right there for some reason.
There's an actual icon that you can put on everybody's desktop G Suite training, and it actually moves the cursor and goes through a little video and shows you how to use stuff inside of there. They've tried to make it as simple as they can. And the cool thing about it is it's intuitive. Gmail is a lot more intuitive once you understand how it flows. You see a line in Google, and you're always typing above that line. And once you understand that, you know, oh, that's where you put everything. So it's little tiny quirks, but once you get over it, once you understand how it works, it gets pretty easy. Before we switched over to Google, we were actually looking at collaboration software. They wanted Word documents and spreadsheets that people could work on together. There was some of that already in our Office suite, and we were going to try to take more advantage of it. We had some lock issues that we had to get over with, and we knew once we went to 365, a lot of that would go away. But like I say, I switched for the email, but when I realized the level of collaboration against the entire suite, I was blown away by it, and I still am, because we'll be in a Word document and you see the other person typing, and you actually, it's color coded, and you share it at the top. It's got their picture, their color, and whatever it is they're typing, it's actually underneath what they're typing, and you see the words coming out as they're typing, and I could be down here typing. and you do the cells, and then if you need to go back and look, there's a log on the right-hand side. You can see every cell that they changed, what they changed it from, what they changed it to, and when they changed it. To this day, I'm still surprised at that level of collaboration that came with it. Again, I just came for the email part of it. I had to switch the server. But with the G Suite, every day I find something new that you can do with it.
And I believe they recently re-added the chat function back within the document, so you have chatting live during the document creations. So if you're spread out, you don't have a phone like this all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's always been, and you guys know this, it's always been the way that Microsoft has worked is very linear. You know, the way that people work on their individual systems, then they have to take the file, upload it to the server, or even work off the server, but somebody had to be in, if not, you had to get software to do check in, check out, et cetera, right? That's all gone now, you know, and the big collaboration piece is huge.
You never click save.
Ever.
Ever.
There is no save.
There is no save. It just does it for you. It'll say at the top, you know, everything's saved for you. You don't. There is no save button to click on. I don't know how many times I've been burned in the past by not clicking save. It doesn't exist in G Suite. Everything's online. Everything's there. You can get to it: tablet, phone, laptop, tablet, whatever.
The versioning's nice because you can always look at the log and find out what the last person did. You don't like it, just undo. It's just a matter of clicking on that version, and it goes right back to that.
So there's three basic levels, or three levels. Basic, which I'm on. Business is what Greg's on, and enterprise is for the big boys. And it's 5, 10, and 25. 20 for the different levels. A lot of times you go through a reseller and get a little bit cheaper. Usually $1 or $2, sometimes $2.
And that's always good. If you ever do that, by the way, definitely go through a reseller. Don't go through Google Direct. Go through a reseller because a lot of times they have a lot of features and functionalities that they'll give you for free just for going through them. You're paying the same thing as if you were going through Google Direct, but they have a little bit more of a flexibility on their end.
And it's an additional layer of support as well.
Yeah, so we're getting ready to switch to another reseller, and they've actually got something called G-Panel that actually enhances the control panel that we've already got with additional functionality. So one of the key features we needed was the ability to delegate mailboxes and to have a corporate signature. And so we're actually switching to somebody else that's going to give us this granularity to where we can actually do that. And because we're going through the reseller, they're actually giving us the discount, and we get this additional functionality by going with them. Yeah, that was kind of some of the things in red over here. Can't sort email like you can in Outlook. Labels, Gmail at home. That was the biggest thing. Told people, hey, we're going to go to Gmail. They're like, cool, that's what I use at home. But for business, oh my God, it sucks.
20 times the email, and all of a sudden they don't like it.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, so you get 300 emails a day versus 5, you know? One of the big things, there's a feature in there called Conversations where it bundles the emails together. Turn that off. Because, yeah, people couldn't find stuff because it was all bundled together and it wasn't showing up one email per line. So be sure to turn the Conversations off so it doesn't bundle together.
Especially if you're an Outlook user.
Yes, especially.
If you're an Outlook user, you have to turn it off. If not, you lose a lot of people that way. Whereas if you get people who can understand the methodology behind the conversation, saying, look, it keeps everything for you in one email, you know, it's a win-win if you understand that.
Yeah, for us, it's not a good thing for a lot of folks because we have a lot of automated reports. The subjects don't change. So you got 6 months worth of stuff that comes out every day, all in one.
It's all bundled
less
together.
than stellar.
And so G Suite thinks it's one big conversation that you're having. So it tries to bundle your conversations together. Yeah. That was the first lesson we learned, turn off conversations. So when you get G Suite, you actually get a lot of modules to it. You got your account so you can personalize it. You got 2-factor authentication. So every time you log in, I get it on my phone, it gives me a code, I type the code in. I've got another thing called Google Authenticator that I'm using. It's kind of like the RSA key, where you got so much time to put in that key. And then there's another one in here where it just pops up on your phone. Are you trying to log in? Yes or no? And if it's not you, you hit no. If it's yes, you just hit yes. You got search. I mean, everybody knows how cool Google search is. And now they've actually got it through your domain where you can actually search with it.
Cloud search.
Google Plus tried to be like Facebook. It kind of sucks. I got it turned on, but nobody uses it. You get into it, it's kind of like,
It's great for intranet, by the way, for like your intranet, so you don't have to do outside hosting or anything, just to like post your HR forms and like calendar of the day. I mean, you can do all kinds of individual things,
Yeah, we don't use
which
it.
is nice.
Yeah, we're starting to use sites for similar things.
Yeah, so we're actually, you get sites on there, and it's a pretty limited builder, but I was actually on a support call one night, and I started thinking with it, and within 30 minutes, I'm big into motorcycles. I created a motorcycle site for our users that all work here. And so you gotta kind of click on stuff, kind of like that right mouse button, you gotta be in it to click on it for the menu to appear for what you wanna do. But I started playing with that, and now we're gonna build it out as a full intranet site with the links and everything. You got your mail, calendar, which we'll touch on, it's pretty cool. You got your Google Drive, which is just a web-based hard drive. There's an actual module that you can plug in. Come on in.
I found your note.
Thank you. Thanks, Gary. You can actually download an app, which it'll turn Google Drive just like one of your shared drives on your computer, which is pretty cool. Contacts, so you can organize all your contacts. There again, you put labels on it, you put them in a label, that way you send an email to that label, and that's your personal distribution list. Docs is their version of Word, Sheets is their version of Excel, Slides is PowerPoint, and then Groups is your email distribution list. And the cool thing about it is it's real easy to create a group, and you can make it to where the email is internal to the domain only or opened up to everybody. But the best part for us is it's part of your profile. You click into it, it shows all the groups that you're in at the user level, and you can modify how you get your email. Whether you don't want the email, you get it in a digest of 25, in groups of 25, or you just get one email a day, but it's got all the emails combined. So like our backups, things like that, we get a bundle of them together, and then you get regular email. And then if you just don't want to be in a group anymore, you can opt yourself out. And then we can set you up as a manager. If we set you up as a manager, then you can actually manage the people that are in that group yourself, instead of having to delegate it through Exchange in order to do it. And honestly, they keep adding onto this. Now we've got something in here called Hangouts. We use that, it's similar to Communicator. I don't know if you guys remember the old Communicator. You can actually do your phone calls through your computer based on that with your Google Voice. Tie that into it. And then you got full video conference capability on it and chat. And I can take pictures with that. We will actually go out in the warehouse and they get on their personal phone, one hit, they can take a picture and send it to the buyers down there and say, hey, we got a problem with the product that just came in and I got a picture of it. Plus they got an email to back up that as well. So these are the two different versions that I was telling you about. This is actually the inbox. To me, it's a little oversimplified. It's kind of easy. You get a checkbox on here, you just check it. And when you do, it takes it out of your inbox. So you've actually got a done section. So if you click the check, it marks it as done and it moves it out of your inbox. Almost like read, but then kind of get it out of the way kind of deal. And then you've got your labels out here to the left. You can go in here and set rules, say, I don't want to see it in my inbox, just put it into the label / folder for the Microsoft people. This is Gmail on the left-hand side. It's the same thing, but it's just a different layout. You've got your labels on there, so you'll see them in red and blue and pink and green. So I can color code those labels so they pop out if it's something. You can star it, show it as important. And then that's just a small touch of the labels that I have. This here is the quarantine. So you can actually quarantine and then go in there and look and see what you quarantined.
For security, this is one of the methods we did to implement because all the spoofing and all the spam emails, etc. So at the domain level, we set up an SPF, SPF on our domain, and then we also set up a DMARC as well. So now everything that goes through gets captured here. So if it's not authenticated as a URL, it's going to get caught in the quarantine. So these are all like, blasted emails from whatever kind of company that's shooting out. You'll see out here, there's Target emails, there's Sam's Club, so you name it. So it's going to get caught. Occasionally, if like, we deal with a lot of contractors, so if we get a brand new contractor who just got a new domain, they'll get caught in here because they're not authenticated yet, because that domain hasn't been up and running for a long period of time. And so what we do is we just go in here and you'll see on there it says allow or deny. You can actually just click on it and filter out which ones you want to pass through or not. It's nice and easy. None of that. It's easy to keep just thumb through it every day.
There's also a feature in here called Google Vault, which is available for free at the business level. We have to pay for it. We're currently not using it. I'll let Greg talk a little bit more about this.
This is great. This captures every email going in and out. So if anybody ever says, oh, I have to hold on to, I can't, have email. Listen, we want you to have less email. The less email you have, the better. The thing we're trying to do is get people to understand how to use the archive method. The archive method in Gmail is key, because if you get an email and you don't want to put it in a folder, or you don't know where to put it, right? You're like, I may want to keep it, but I don't want to delete it. Then just archive it. It just goes away out of your box. I mean, like I tell you, there's two boxes, right? Inbox and archive. So it goes in archive. And how archive emails can be seen is going to and he'll show you this later. There's a label called all mail, and it's timestamp, date driven, to where every email that comes in, and you kept it, it's going to say it's either in this label, or it says me, because that's your sent, or if it doesn't have a tag, a label, then that's in your archive. It's just there. So guess what? You do a search and you decide you got enough of these emails over time, then you just check them all, throw them in a label. So you kept them. So it's great. So with Vault here, because it keeps everything, not only that, it also keeps drafts. So say for instance you get an email and you get pissed off, right? And as you start typing up your draft, and then all of a sudden you go, okay, I don't want to send this out right now. Let me calm down and redo it again. And then you back it out. I can see all the different versionings of your draft if I wanted to. This has been great. We've had a few lawsuits against vendors of ours. And you know how it is with remediation and so forth. They go, I need to see every email. Guess what? Click, click, done. Man, when we had Outlook, I had to backups and PST files.
Legal hold.
Right? Days. Took days. Dude, this is seconds, minutes at most. That's how fast that piece is. This is the big piece that sold me, because now I don't have, the whole piece he said, don't have to worry about emails anymore, I got my weekends back. This is it for me. This was worth it. $10 a user for us for the business account, with unlimited space.
And now they've just released a new feature called Team Drives for your Google Drive. So we're going to wind up getting rid of our share servers, our file servers, and go to this, because it's no longer owned by the individual with Team Drives. So it acts just like your file share server.
Yep.
So I've got a bunch of servers in the back. I'm actually running Synology servers, and Synology just released an add-on free with their OS that will actually back up all of your files from Google and act as an on-site storage, since everything's web-based. That way we'll still, instead of me getting rid of my servers, we'll still keep them and then do our share. We're going to move all of our share files to web-based, but then keep an on-site backup and reuse our servers.
I haven't told you this.
And the backups actually drop down into that storage as Microsoft formats. So if you need to pull it out individually, fine.
Yeah, I'm part of the EAP, the Early Adapter Program, and there's a new add-on now. You have Google Drive, and then there's a file stream. So I've been testing that, and it's with Gmail. You have the browser, right? Not everybody's keen to the browser. You can download, like Ray said, you can download the client, and you can have the Gmail client. So it gives you that Windows look and feel. Well, it's the same thing.
You actually get your lettered drives, just like you would on a regular
Yeah.
file share on the network, and then you just see one that says G Drive on there.
Yep. So it's on there. You get to see all your team. I have my team drives now. Got them all laid out. So we've slowly been moving. What we've done is we've to ease up our server on space, is we started putting everything into an archive. And the nice thing about it is then we were able to then flag and flag it for all the users as read-only. We don't want them manipulating the files, we just want them read-only. So now it's backup and so forth, that's all that backup stuff is now up in the cloud, freeing up for just, for those that were still using our file servers for, for whatever purposes, because we haven't migrated everything over yet. It's really cool.
I really like the fact that you can restore and save the drafts.
Oh, I got something to show you about this. This is how Slackers. There's another tool called Protoscore, which I'll talk about later, and it's a productivity. We can measure a person's productivity on G Suites. Your email, your drive, your chat, all the above, phone, CRM, all that. It gives you a heartbeat of the company. You got a value between 0 and 100, right? But every day that company has a heartbeat. You don't know where they are today. It's Friday. You'd be amazed what the number is on Friday because everybody's upbeat, ready to, Mondays the numbers are bad, but you got to see this nice correlation in numbers and who's productive, who's not. Well, this guy, one of them, he gets about 25 emails a day. Out of those 25 emails, half of those were personally related or gossip going between other users back and forth. Well, I kind of brought this to the owner's attention and he goes, all right, let's go in the vault. Went in the vault, pulled up everything, he was gone. Didn't need that kind of person in the office. So again, proof, quick, easy access. You can see we did a quick search. This is kind of between us, this was the guy. So, all these like RE, this is, that sucks, good luck with the drive home. I mean, just a whole bunch of little things that this user did regarding the company and bashing the company and creating issues within the company, just didn't need that in the company. And that was reason for us to let it go.
So one thing, we don't have Vault, but this is something that Greg had pointed out, that you cannot restore an email from Vault, but you can get it as a PDF. And you can
as a conversation. It will break, you have no individual, it ties it all together as a conversation. So that's nice because when you, like for the lawsuits for remediation, it was boop, just like that. It put every whole conversation together, which was nice.
And then another thing is that you still have the ability to keep the attachments in there. So even if it's a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet, you'll still be able to download it and print it out as an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. Those are all available. The downloads are. It's just the actual email text.
This is the email search, so every once in a while we got to go search an email. I never got that. So we can actually go in here. So you go by sender, sender IP, recipient, recipient IP, subject, and message ID. And then once you do the search for it, it actually gives you detailed information. You got it at such and such a time. These people got it. It went through these IP addresses to get delivered to you. And this is actually really simple, but you get about as detailed as you can get as far as email goes. And it's just a real quick, simple, what did this guy get for the last 30 days? You can go all the way down, drill down.
Unfortunately, that's the limit. It only goes back 30 days.
Yeah. Yes, that does. That does for sure. One piece for that, you ever have sales guys that says, hey, all of a sudden the email's gone. Well, and you wonder, okay, well, what'd you do? Right? Well, in this, you just look up the information and it tells you what their action was. Like this one guy, he archived it. I was, oh, it's in your archive. Just go to all mail and just do the search. Or the other thing was, it shows he deleted it. I said, it shows you deleted it, so I can at least go back, I can go into Vault, pull it up in Vault, I can send it to him in a PDF if he needed it. Not only that, but another person, it shows who all was copied, so he actually wanted it back in his email. So I just, hey, so-and-so has it, why don't you just forward the email, so it has to have them forward you the email. And so now he's back in the loop again,
Okay, this is actually tied in with Chrome, so you don't necessarily have to be on any of the G Suite to get this, but to get the additional functions, you will need to. When you click on it, it's almost like their version of the Start button. So you'll see a lot more options in here. You've got the administrator panel in here. You've got photos, you got support, maps, YouTube. There's a keep in here, which is really cool. I call it a grocery list on steroids. You can actually go into it, create the list. You can create check boxes. When you check it, it goes to the bottom, says it's completed. But if you want to share it with somebody, you just put their name in it. It's automatically shared with them, they go to it, they'll see it. And I'll show you a screenshot of it here later, but I use this with my team and all of my general managers at my sites so when I get on site, what do I need to do? And I share it with them so they can add to it too as well, and then we discuss it whenever I leave, and then during our staff meetings, I bring up Keep, and then that's our task list, so I can actually assign tasks to people. You can take pictures with your phone, you get the Keep on your phone, so now I've actually got inspectors that walk our warehouse, and as they see something, they'll pull up that Keep, that task list, take a picture, and then type on there what it is, and then somebody back here in the office that starts showing up for them on their task list, and they got a picture of what needs to get done.
One of the newer functions in Keep is that it's OCR now. So think about that if you go into SpiceCorps. Any of the slides that are up there, it'll convert it to text for you. It's actually pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And plus, you'll also have the original photo as well. So I mean, but it will actually convert to text using Keep.
And then once you create it as a task list, you can even convert it to a Word document or their version of Docs document afterwards.
I have a Pixel, and I use, of course, the OK Google commands all the time. And what the nice thing with Keep is I'll just start giving it commands, and it'll just start adding it out there, MLS, and providing it to whoever I need it to go to. So it's like having a nice assistant, you know?
And it's location aware. So grocery list on steroids, you can set it to go to the grocery store, and it'll bring it up when you get to the grocery store and show you the list. This is a snapshot of the Word document part. It's very similar to Word. It's pretty intuitive and easy to follow. And this is the one for the spreadsheets. And I'm gonna say it's just as robust as Excel. I really haven't found much that it won't do. And you've got the whole machine learning built into it. And so you can actually go in there and say, I want to do a formula against sales. It will create the formula for you on the fly. You can even look at the formula, and it's this long thing. It'll show you the graphs, whatever you want to do, and it gives you a bunch of options. Hey, do you want to put this in your spreadsheet?
At the very bottom of each one, there's like this Explore button. You can click on that Explore button, and it comes up, and it automatically would do analytics for you based off all that machine learning of whatever data. So if you have an entire spreadsheet here of data, it will take that information and break it down into a pie chart, you know, bar chart, whatever. And then not only that, it tells you how many you did of what, and then all you do is ask it the question.
In plain language.
Advanced Excel users should be nervous.
You know, you ask it the
If that's what
question.
their
And it
job
kind of goes.
Yeah. And even with the slides, like you're doing a PowerPoint type presentation, you click on the Explore, and it'll actually take it and rearrange, do fonts, and pretty it up for you, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Are the documents saved? Are they XML docs?
You can actually save them as an XML doc.
you can.
Okay.
In fact, you can actually use
Right, but you can save it.
you can use Google Sheets to open up Excel documents and Microsoft documents, manipulate it, and save it back as an Excel document.
Okay.
So in a lot of cases, we're actually looking at switching over to Chrome boxes instead of PCs, and those units run about $150 a piece instead of $600-800 for a desktop.
Of course, you gotta realize our users, they're
Yeah, this is it right here.
down here. They don't need, most of them don't need i7s, all that stuff, so that's how we can hit that price.
Although to be fair, I run a global development shop, and we went a little bit more expensive, but we're moving to Chromebooks at $180.
Right.
You know?
Now, there's Chromebooks and Chrome boxes.
That's good.
Now, for the record, there's some of these Chromebooks and Chrome boxes that'll go up $800-900 that are running i7, and I think there's one with a Xenon chip in it or something. But it's you got some serious stuff in it. But like downstairs, when you saw the slideshow presentation, that's running off of a Chrome bit, which is the size of a candy bar, and that was $85. And I have the full functionality. In fact, we put some out in the warehouse for people to use, and I go, it's a little slow, it could be a little faster, but they can still get to everything that they need out there, and it's a
And
really
$80
cheap
for
alternative.
disposal.
Yeah.
Yeah, at $85, in that environment, that humidity and the dust and everything out there, I'm not gonna stick a big, nice machine out there.
They don't last long after a while.
They really don't.
Warehouses going.
Now here's what's kind of cool, they're actually gonna be opening up the Android store. So a lot of the Android apps that you can get now, they're gonna start tying this in with Chrome. And there's a web store, an app store, that's just got a ton of stuff. I do not show this to my users, because there's games, there's all kinds of stuff that you can download out here. There's add-ons, there's apps. but it's literally, it's the Google Play Store is what it is.
You can
but
lock
there's-
it down.
Yeah, you can. They have a Chrome management piece within Google
You can
where you
wipe
can
it,
manage
wipe it,
that.
whatever you need.
And you can create policies based on OUs, which we'll show here in a little bit. But you're not limited to just the G Suite modules that you have out here. You've got thousands of add-on stuff that you can put in here. And we could spend alone just all day on that. This is a real quick look of what the administrator panel looks like. You've got it broken down to users, apps, groups. They're rolling out mobile device management for both Android and iOS. If you get any of the Chrome boxes, Chrome bits, Chrome books, you can also manage them inside the device manager. And
So
again,
that's-
you can sort things by OU in here as well.
That's one less license fee to worry about. It's already built in. You know, your users, they get a pop-up and they have to acknowledge. You know, so you send the email out 10 times. This is what you have to do. And then if for every reason they lose their phone or they get a new phone, you just wipe it, disable the account. Do that by device.
Is that full wipe or the
Full wipe.
sandbox wipe?
Either or.
Either or, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You can just wipe the account, whatever, especially with the containerization, for work profiles that you're putting on the Android side. Yeah, you already have this encrypted little share out there. Much better way to do it.
Yeah, Android users rejoice. This is very strong on the Android side. They're getting there with the iOS. And it's like every month they come out with a new feature that integrates more with iOS. You've got a whole report section where you get a lot of different reports out of here. I want to say they're a little on the light side, but there's a lot of third-party SaaS that you can plug in to get a lot broader functionality that goes even deeper into it. Security support, data migration, somebody leaves, you can migrate all the files, all the emails to another person if you need to in its own control panel. This is the more expanded view. This is more of what it looks like. You've got your domain control in here, your app engine, apps, administrator roles. You can create roles for your people as well and grant your authority, a lot like VMware kind of stuff.
The app engine, badass. That's all I gotta say about that. I mean, now you're talking about your virtual servers and so forth, you know. You're talking full development, sky's the limit from there, you know. It's all tied in through your domain.
I hadn't even had a chance to play with that part yet. This is kind of what the users look like. You got a row of them. You've got it broken out by organizational unit over here, and you can do subunits as deep as you want. We've got ours actually separated by those that are by location. Then we got it broken down to like operations, warehouse, receiving, transportation, distribution, sales. And then we got two-factor key authentication that we enforce out through policies in here. And of course you click on it, it takes you just into that user. And you go pretty deep into it with that.
Is it pulling from Active Directory or is it its own directory?
It's its own.
So,
Now, we've actually got,
You can save
on
it.
our domain controllers, we've actually got a piece. So if we change their, oh, it's Gary Johnson. Yeah. I'm actually on call right now too. Talking about OUs, we've got it so if you change the password on Active Directory, it updates your Google profile as well with the password. So the user can still do the Control-Alt-Delete on his laptop, and it takes it all the way across up into Google and syncs everything with that. This is one of the dashboard reports that you get in there. It's kind of light. I wish it was bigger for everybody to see. I know in the back you're just kind of seeing a squiggly line, but it gives you a rundown of how many users you got, how much space they're taking up, how active they are, how many video sessions that they're using, video meetings that they do, how much overall space that they're taking. And then with a lot of these you can click and drill down even further on it. There's something called the G Suite Status Dashboard. So if there's ever an issue with a certain module, it'll post it out here, tell you what day, what module. So Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides actually had an issue on 8/11, and then you'll get an email letting you know that there's something going on with it when it came back.
it's proactive support, not figure it out when it happens to you, you know?
And they'll even say 10% of users have reported an issue with this. We're looking into it, hope to have it resolved within 15 minutes. 10 minutes later, you get an email going, okay, we found the root cause and got it corrected.
You can hover over the circle, you click on it, it gives you details, tells you steps.
So I gotta turn in
Timeline.
KPIs to my boss, so anytime I have an outage, at least I got a chart here to show them, hey, we actually did have outages for the week. This is what they were. There's a lot of training and help online, you know, the expression, you know, Google it. They actually mean that, and they've got it broken down for each one of the suites, each module, if you want to collaborate, store, communicate. And again, the collaboration and the communication is just unbelievable with this stuff. I'm still amazed what you can do with it. But again, online, it's all right there. They own YouTube, so they got all kinds of YouTube videos for it.
Which is the #1 domain, accessible domain in the world, according to them.
Right
The-
after.
The other piece was, what were you just looking at? They have different levels of training. You can get certifications if you want. The level 1 is obviously free for everybody. You know, it just kind of runs through the general admin of it.
This is what our chat looks like. I'm gonna say it's kind of similar to Communicator, if anybody's ever used Communicator. It's like text, so your most recent's gonna be up here on the top. It used to be before you had to invite somebody to talk, but we've opened it up on our domain, so everybody in the domain's automatically in here. You just go to the top, type who you want to talk to, and start talking to them. You can do groups. You can do, you click on the camera and do an instant video chat with them. You can click on the phone and call them. And since it's tied into the directory, when you click it, it's got their desk phone, their office phone, their whatever extra phones that we have in there, even their extensions, we've added those in there as well. You can, the little X or the square next to it, send them an SMS text through that. And it goes through Google, so it's free. You don't have to pay any charges. I'm actually starting to make phone calls to my computer now instead of my desk phone. You could click the arrow and break it out and have multiple conversations, do it into groups. Cool thing about it is, since I got it on my phone, I can run through the warehouse and take a picture or something and send it to one of my team members, and it'll actually pop up here, hey, you got a package waiting for you downstairs, it's giant, you might want to bring a cart, and then snap a picture of it, and there it is. And our warehouse guys are starting to use it for the receivers with our buyers, instead of running back and forth, because they would take pictures with the camera, download it to the computer, email it. We got a 25 meg cap, so they got to email 3 pictures, then email 3 more pictures, and then they get it. And yeah, they just walk through, click, 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 and it's one click, take the picture and send. So it's not moving anything. You just click and a picture sent. So multiple pictures, click, 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 click. They got it. It's showing up on their screen in their, whether they're by phone or computer, and they've got a copy in their email too, which is pretty cool. And again, they just keep adding stuff to this. This is what the meetings look like. It ties in with your calendar. So if you set up a video conference, we have all of our different sites use the Chromebox for meetings. If you put it on the calendar, we've actually got this set up as a room. I don't know if you guys saw the green boxes that are out there. Those are actually our room managers that are tied into the calendar. So we have a room calendar, and if there's a meeting, they'll actually turn red to let you know not to come in here, that there's a meeting in progress. It's tied in here, and you go to the screen, and that's actually what this little box right here, when you fire it up, you get this screen. That's in the calendar, you click it and you're in, and you're already talking to the other sites.
No pins, no codes, you know, like WebEx. I mean, geez, you just been, shit, what was the code?
Yeah. They'll
What was the pin?
Now, and you can create a meeting on the fly. Let's say you come in and you haven't created something in the calendar. I can go in here and type in ABC because it's in my domain. Somebody else can type in ABC and now we're talking.
Now,
And then if you got a laptop-
RTC based, you can give a link to anyone who's not a Google user now and they're in. They do not have to be Google users anymore to utilize the link.
And if you got a laptop, it'll actually show up on your laptop. You go into Chrome and it's like, are you in the room? You say yes, and you can start presenting. And you don't even have to plug in. Like I said, we got 5 sites. You present your stuff to here, and then they're seeing it at the other sites too. So you can present a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet even if you want, and it'll show up in here and the other sites will see it too.
And these have the abilities for two screens, so one side for the video, one side for the presented material, if you will.
Yeah, all these Chrome boxes you can plug in, one's a D port, and then the other one's HDMI. So and like if you go to the Google office that's here in Dallas, they've actually got two big projectors set up. One's for who you're talking to, and the other one is just for the presentations. And again, it's you buy the package, it comes with a wireless speaker. It's down here, the camera, the remote, the box. It's $750, and then it's a $250 annual license for it. That's the only drawback, is that annual license.
So that's, 24/7, 365 support. Of course, the one time I did use it, I got called by an Indian guy out of Ireland, which kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, he kissed the Blarney Stone. Okay. This is a Google Drive. It's a little bit more graphical representation in here, but again, you can put the app on your laptop or your desktop, and it'll look just like one of the shared drives in there. But this is the web-based version. It's got your most recent files at the top, your folders, and then your individual documents down below. Oh, I think I stole this. I got a bunch of animations that keep showing up. This is off of my training. There we go. This is what contacts look like. Very similar to the user screen. You got your individual contacts. One cool thing in here, if you click on directory, it's basically the phone list. It shows you everybody in your domain, and we're trying to get people to use this as a phone list. It's slow adoption, but they really like it once they get there. Then I've got all the other contacts that are in here. It'll actually go out and find duplicates for you, and it'll present to you. You can do, merge all. Don't recommend it. Great way to lose things. And then you still got your labels over here for your, treat them as a list. This is a shot at calendar. I've probably got 50 calendars tied to me as an admin because I set a lot of these up. So they're all color coded, and you click over here and it'll turn that calendar off. So think of a bunch of layers with the calendar. You can turn the layers on and off however you want, and they're all color coded on here. And you click on it, create the event. There's an option to turn it into a video conference, and you're done. You invite the people, you choose the room that you want, click save, save, and you're done. Pretty intuitive. This is the groups screen that the users will see. This will show all the groups that they're in. They can edit, they can choose how they get the email or even leave the group. And if you're set up as a manager, then you can actually manage the users. We got a lot of people that turn over in different departments, and those department heads want to be able to manage their groups and their people. So we just make them a manager of it. We're still owner, they're a manager, and then so that way as people come and go, it's their responsibility now to keep that list up instead of us, because we had to do everything before. This is Keep that I was telling you about. I try to put pictures in it to kind of color code it and church it up a little bit. But you got your check boxes. When I was at Spice World, I used it for my notes. So I take a picture of the slide and then type it in. So you put your, if I scroll down, I literally got Keep that would go down to the next floor. I've got so many different Keeps in here for the notes. But it's great for conferences. I can kind of keep notes with that. Again, labels. So I can quickly pick out all of my location or my people or even personal stuff in here. Talking about devices, this is the Chrome bit I was telling you about. It's the candy bar size, about 85 bucks. There's an app that goes inside of Chrome called Sign Builder. It's free, it's part of it, and it looks like a calendar. So I actually click on a section in here to decide what I display on there, and then you just plug it in the back and you got a full screen display of whatever it is you're wanting to. So you can do a URL. I've actually got touch screens at each one of our sites. It's this Chrome bit is locked down as a kiosk mode for Paylocity, and so that's our payroll company that we use, and our people can just walk up to it, use the touch screen, log in, get their pay information, their pay stubs, whatever they want, and it's locked down to just that site, and they can't surf anything else. If they get pissed, they jack with it, they unplug it, they plug it back in, it takes them right back to that site to the login screen. And they can't go anywhere else on it. That's $25 annual for that kiosk license per device. It'll work with the Chrome bits, the Chrome boxes, if you want to do them as kiosk mode. It takes a minute to learn. I think I figured it out in about 20 minutes, but pretty robust for something really simple. And honestly, at that point, it's disposable. We've actually got a screen out there running off of that Chrome bit in a kiosk. What you're seeing over here in the bottom right is actually our truck locations. We got a GPS in all of our trucks. So this is an interactive map. And as the trucks move around on the map, they'll actually show where they currently are. Again, it's running off of that Chrome bit, that little tiny candy bar set deal. And that's based off of a URL. So we use a company called Samsara. All of our telemetrics get uploaded through the trucks that go to them. They gave us the web portal. I put it on here as a URL. And so when our trucks spread out through the state, you see it. When they collapse, the map actually shrinks back in, and you can see them all clustered up out here in the yard. This is what the Chrome boxes look like. You got different price ranges here from $182.99, $155, CDW for $1,000. Surprise there. 208, Newegg's got them for $355. But you got Lenovo, Asus, HP, Acer that makes all the different versions out there of these Chrome boxes. So, you know, if you're not a big fan of Asus, go with Lenovo. They got this little skinny guy over here. So, but that's the basic flavor. This is the Chrome box down here that we have. Again, dual ports, so if you want a desktop user that wants the 2 screens, real quick, keyboard and a mouse, 2 screens, you're off and running. Log in with your profile. You just got access to everything. And at that point, it's almost disposable too for a desktop. Chromecast, that's actually what I'm using right now with my phone. It is Wi-Fi based. So we've got our main network Wi-Fi, which I'm using now with this screen, and then for the projector, I've got a guest Wi-Fi, and that's what that one's tied to. So as we have guests and vendors that come in and want to use it, I just tell them to tag into that one, and they got the projector, and then everybody in-house, since I put a big TV in here, everybody's gravitated towards the TV and they've forgotten the projector. So I've actually got 2, and these guys are $35 a piece at Target or Walmart, so I actually carry a handful of them with me, and as I go out, I plug them into different screens and things. And I have a projector that I carry with me. I plug that in, and that's what I actually use for presentations when I take the projector with me. And again, using my phone off of my Google slide to show the presentation. This is all the stuff that we don't have time to talk about, and they keep adding new stuff like every couple of weeks. And this is just the stuff they got Google Jamboard, which they just came out with, which is a screen about this size that you can actually draw on the screen and draw notes like a whiteboard, but anybody in the world that's tied into that session can see it too. And they don't use anything special. In fact, it's a big piece of rubber, and they're like $6. So if you lose it, you just get another one, and it's not tied to anything. It's just a rubber thing with a chip in it.
Before you go, just quickly, a few things that really stick out for me. Google Forms. You ever have surveys?
Awesome.
You want to do and gather data? It takes you seconds to build that, and you just shoot it out to everybody.
Teachers at our school use it for quizzes for our kids.
Smart lock, so if you ever have like LastPass or passwords, it's already built in. You don't have to pay for a license or anything. The winner chicken dinner for me is the Google App Maker. That is where you can actually build your own apps. It is phenomenal. Where if you needed to take a spreadsheet, take a database, kind of mix the two, populate it, do a query on it, takes seconds to tie everything together. So it's nice and easy. That they just came out with this year.
Google Chrome Remote Desktop. We use TeamViewer here, but that's something that comes with Chrome. I use it to get into my mom's laptop all the time and help her out so she can get to Facebook and whatever else she needs. But it's a free utility inside of Chrome. It's just an add-on extension. And again, and we still don't have everything on here. They keep adding stuff. We're on the basic level. I'm paying less than $5 a month per user, and all of this comes with it. And the Google Voice is something I'm really digging too. So I've actually got a second phone number tied to my phone, and I can get phone calls on it, and people go, "Oh, I didn't know you lived in
Yeah,
Grand
instead
Prairie."
of
I
giving
don't.
your own number out, just get a Google Voice number and just give that one out.
That's your side number, and I get it on my phone or my computer whenever it's up. This is Greg's deal. He likes
Yeah,
this.
this one here is a productivity. There's this company called ProtoScore. They charge anywhere between $5 up to like $30 a user, depending on your level of in-depth you want to get with this product. What you're doing is measuring productivity here.
This
So-
is a third-party SaaS I was telling you about earlier.
So you can see what it did, the heartbeat for this, for this day, for this range, for the last 7 days, the heartbeat is averaged out to be 58, okay? What does that mean? It's just a number, that's all it is. For that day, this is what they feel this number was based on the average. Out of this, we had 3 employees that fell below 30. We had on average between 30 and 70, we had 28 employees, and we had some overachievers that are above 70, so we have 14 people there. The nice thing is that you can then drill down in each one. I think we have the next slide right there. We'll drill down on one of these, and we can actually see the users. So for an organization, I put them underneath operations. This is our customer service, and what they do is we can measure each person. They got their own little, like Ashley has purple, Cheryl has another color, and you can see all the different colors. You can hover over them and it tells you the scores and so forth like that. Then we can drill down even further. As I drill down on one of the users, it breaks it up by day. You can see the bar graph and this comparison of the previous week. So this Thursday you did this last Thursday you did that. So you can see score-wise. And then on top of that, it tells you for that day, this person did 100 activities on Gmail, on Drive, which means it could have been Sheets, could have been Docs, could have been whatever, okay? That day, this person sent out 85 emails. So her score, this person did 100 today. So she was very productive as a user, okay? Then if I wanted to get even more granular, I can then click on the actual email and it will show me all the list of the conversations. It's almost like a small version of Vault in that aspect, where I can see for that day the conversations or the emails that this user had. Then on top of that, I can right click and I can say negate it, because what if it was personal? Remember that guy I was telling you about? He had 25 emails. Out of 25, more than half were not productive. So if I flagged all of those, all of a sudden, if this person sent out 70 emails that were non-productive, that score just dropped.
Can you blanket do that based on your vendors and so forth?
Say again?
Can you blanket that information in some way based on the domains that you do business with? That way you don't have to do something manually like that?
No, unfortunately, no. They don't have that yet. In fact, I actually met with their developer because I did a demo of this, and I said, look, I can, try to be a use case for you. And I provided them quite a bit of feedback. So they took it for what it's worth, and they actually made 2 improvements right off the bat. It's pretty quick for them to do that. But you can see from the time they start to the time they quit, all the productivity they had.
How'd you find out about that, Greg?
Say it?
How'd you find out about it in the first place?
Conference.
Okay.
Found out at a conference. I went to Google Next, which is their version like SpiceCorps.
Way more Googlier.
Yeah.
Of course.
The Kool-Aid's right at the doors.
They hand you the bottle.
Well, that actually brings us to our conclusion. I know we covered a lot of stuff. Be happy to answer any questions that anybody has. I'm still learning this. I've been on it for a year, and it's like every day I find a new something in there, new feature, new something that they're rolling out, and they are constantly upgrading. And the cool thing about it is any update you get immediately. It just gets pushed out.
And for me, just to circle back around to the very beginning for his first slide, is that I started out just for email. I needed something just for hosting. Something that was going to be up 24/7, something that was going to provide me a good backup. But more importantly, those emails that get deleted. So the big piece for me, like I was showing you early on, was Vault. That was the big sell. I mean, every email coming in, every email going out, it's kept, 100%. Even if they think they deleted it on their end, they deleted it out of their inbox, but it's still involved. You know, so for retention purposes, that was a winner chicken dinner for me. And then all of a sudden, all this other stuff, and then that really, I started going down our list of software and things that we were using company-wide. And then all of a sudden, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that. Before you know it, now I'm saving the company XYZ dollars, which was nice because by me showing that and demonstrating that, I got a nice bump in pay. Then all of a sudden, I got bonuses that I wasn't expecting. And the owner pretty much said, he goes, man, I really appreciate the job you did because you helped reduce our overhead, number one. But the big piece that he was caught on, we do several like big jobs, like million. We're doing like a Wynn Casino right now up in Massachusetts, and you know, over $10 million for our piece. That's just our piece, you know. And to have a spreadsheet, to have a meeting and talk about something, and they actually are keeping everything on the spreadsheet, all of a sudden it's like, well, they all had different versions. Well, I took it and put it on sheets and then said, look, everybody just goes here now, take a look at it, and everybody was having a meeting based on that, and as they're making updates, they see changes and everything happening right then and there. That was the big piece that sold him. And he goes, for the owner, I said, look, now are we going to make this big switch? And that was the done deal. So now it's like we're moving everything over. We're getting rid of Outlook, we're getting rid of Microsoft.
What did you move from that lack to that capability?
What moved from what?
That was a selling point.
Oh,
How did you not have
well,
it before? I guess?
the reason why was, again, looking back at the linear piece that Microsoft has.
Mhm.
You know, everybody's working on their own individual laptops, et cetera, et cetera. They're all working on files. They all had their own spreadsheets, et cetera.
Well, I
You
guess
see?
that's the question. Why did they do that?
That's just how they were taught, like how
okay.
most people were
Because
taught.
if you
It was a
do
workflow
that,
row.
right? Because Office does the same
Oh,
thing.
no, I'm not saying that. That's not my point. The point was that it was an easier interface to have them just point and click, and there it was, without having to maneuver around or having things set up behind the scenes. I don't have to do anything behind the scenes. It's there. For me to implement something from beginning to end, it's easier, it's quick. That's just my opinion.
It just works.
It is.
I don't know any other way to put it.
And it's all same dollar price, point price. I just wanted, Ray and I just wanted to definitely, share with you guys this piece because, again, are we drinking the Kool-Aid deep? Maybe, but, like a lot of shops, we're one man, for us, it's just two of us, and we're over $100 million company with, 3 locations, and it's just us two. So for us to deal with just security alone,
Yeah.
to deal with the security piece of keeping ransomware and so forth out and teaching people, that's why setting up all these different security measures within emails, like I was telling you about with DMARC and SPF and, quarantining and everything. And who's got time for all the other BS? So definitely got my weekends back. You have to worry about email. That's one less thing I have to worry about. And support is awesome. You call it,
Yeah.
instant. It's not like you have to wait, you get somebody right away.
All right, we're done.
Thank you.
Thanks.